Hi friends, today we're going to talk about the cell structure and function. Uh, so the cell is a basic unit of life, and all organisms are made up of cells. And the cell is the simplest collection of matter that can live on Earth. Cells have many organelles inside them. One of the most defining things inside the cell is the nucleus, that is the control center of the cell. Other one is the vacuole, which stores water and ions, and lysosomes, which produces enzymes and destroys bacteria, and ribosomes, which are the protein producing bodies inside the cell. The cytoskeleton provides internal support for the cell, uh, which also helps in maintenance of the rigidity of the cell. And Golgi bodies packages proteins into vesicles. Then there is the rough ER and the smooth ER, that is rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. They are the transport system inside the cell. And flagellum is a long tail-like structure which provides locomotion for the cell and for its movement. There are a few more other cell organelles, that is the mitochondria, which is also known as the powerhouse of the cell, and which produces ATP, which is the energy currency of the cell, and which the cell runs on ATP. And for plant cells, there's a specific pigment called chloroplast inside chlorophyll, which is essential for photosynthesis. And inside plant cells, amyloplast stores starch. One of the most defining things that is important for mitosis is the centriole, which produces the spindle fiber that is necessary for the separation of the chromosomes during cell division. And the other one is protoplasm, which supports all cell organelles. And the cell membrane is a semi-permeable membrane to control and enter and exit. It controls the enter and exit of materials. And chromosomes are the genetic material inside the nucleus. Nucleolus Nucleolus produces ribosomes.
കുറച്ച് പണി ഒന്നുകൂടെ എടുക്കാം. ശരി.
All cells have three basic parts, that is the plasma membrane, a DNA containing region inside the cell, a cytoplasm. All cells must have three basic parts, that is the plasma membrane, which separates each cell from the environment and regulates the flow of molecules across the membrane and contains receptors that can affect the cell's activities. DNA is in the nucleus or loose in the cytoplasm. In eukaryotic organisms, DNA is inside the nucleus, and in prokaryotic organisms such as bacteria, it is loose inside cytoplasm. A cytoplasm with membrane-bound compartments, particles, filaments, and semi-fluid substances, also known as protoplasm, is a location of growth, metabolism, and replication. It is a gel-like matrix of water, enzymes, nutrients, waste, gases, and contains cell structures. Cell membranes. Membranes are primarily composed of phospholipids. Phospholipids are flexible and move against each other, and they promote the fluidity of the cell. Membrane proteins. The cells we know do not live in vacuum. They need to take fuel for metabolism and get rid of waste products. Inside the membrane, inside the cell membrane, there are a lot of factors affecting the cell size and shape. Some cells may be so small and some may be so large. That is because the surface to volume ratio increases more rapidly than its respective surface area. Above a certain size, material can't be moved in or out of the cell fast enough. This means that the cell's ability to import and export materials becomes limited as it grows. Some cells get around this problem with alternative shapes, that is different shapes provide different surface to volume ratio. Nucleus is the control center of the cell, and it contains genetic material which is necessary for hereditary instructions. Nucleus isolates DNA, which contains the code for protein assembly, from the sites where proteins will be assembled. Localization of DNA makes it easier to sort out hereditary instructions when the time comes for a cell to divide. The membranous boundary of the nucleus helps control the exchange of signals and substances between the nucleus and cytoplasm. Nucleus composes of the nuclear envelope, which covers the nucleus, the nucleolus, which produces ribosomes, chromosomes, and chromatin. Chromatin is genetic material of the cell in its non-dividing state. When the cell is not dividing, the genetic material is present in form of chromatin. Nucleolus. These are dark staining structure in the nucleus that plays a role in making ribosomes. And the nuclear envelope, which is a double membrane structure that separates the nucleus from the cytoplasm. The nuclear envelope is a two-lipid bilayer with pores surrounding the nucleoplasm within. The inner surface has attachment sites for protein filaments that anchor the DNA molecules and keep them organized. It separates nucleus from the cytoplasm and controls movement of material in and out of the nucleus. Dark globular mass inside the nucleus, that is the nucleolus. It is composed of cluster of DNA and proteins. It is a region where subunits of ribosomes are prefabricated for shipment out of the nucleus. It directs all cell activities, contains instruction for everything that the cell does, that is protection against foreign bodies, transport of proteins, packaging of proteins, etc. These instructions are found on a hereditary material called DNA. Usually it is the largest organelle in the cell. Ribosomes. Ribosomes are 70S, that is 50 plus 30S, that translate the genetic code into proteins. They are freestanding and distributed throughout the cytoplasm. And nucleoid is the region where the region of the cytoplasm where chromosomal DNA is located. Usually a singular chromosome. Smaller circles of DNA called plasmids are also located in the cytoplasm. Nucleus. Nucleus also contains chromatin. Now we will see about chromatin. Total DNA associated with the proteins. Some chromosomes are individual DNA molecules associated with proteins. Appearances change as the cell divides. It contains genetic code that controls the cell. The cytomembrane system. The cytomembrane system is like a manufacturing and distribution center within a cell. It consists of a group of functionally linked organelles, that is the endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, and certain vesicles. There are two types of endoplasmic reticulum. That is the rough endoplasmic reticulum that participates in assembly of proteins, and smooth endoplasmic reticulum, that is the major site for lipid synthesis, especially membrane lipids. Vesicles carrying proteins and lipids are budded from the smooth ER. Cytomembrane system, that is one of the most important organelles in the cytomembrane system are the Golgi bodies. In Golgi bodies, proteins, lipids undergo final processing, sorting, and packaging. These are responsible for packaging and transport of lipids and proteins. Series of flattened membranes that process protein, primarily glycosylation, that is the addition of carbohydrates. Vesicles carry proteins from one stack to another and eventually to their final destination. It receives proteins to be glycosylated from the endoplasmic reticulum. Vesicles. They are membranous sacs that move through the cytoplasm. There are two important vesicles, that is the lysosomes and peroxisomes. Generically, vesicles are simply membranous sacs that move through the cytoplasm. Lysosomes are vesicles that bud from Golgi bodies. They carry powerful enzymes that can digest the contents of other vesicles, worn out cell parts, bacteria, and foreign particles. Lysozymes protect our body from foreign particles that enter the cell. Peroxisomes are vesicles that contain enzymes that break down fatty acids and amino acids. Hydrogen peroxide is degraded by another enzyme. Mitochondria, also known as the powerhouse of the cell, that produces the ATP, that is the energy currency of the cell. They transfer the energy in carbohydrates to ATP, and they undergo oxygen-rich, under oxygen-rich conditions. A mitochondria has two membranes. The inner fold membrane is surrounded by smooth outer membrane. The inner and outer compartments formed by the membrane are important in energy transformation. Mitochondria have their own DNA and ribosomes. It is said that it is theorized that mitochondria was once a free living organism and it's under a mutual understanding between the cell. There's a mutual understanding between the cell and the mitochondria. There are some specialized plant organelles inside the plants, that is plastid and the central vacuole. Chloroplasts. They are stacked disc-like are a type of plastid. They are oval and dark shaped, bounded by double membrane and are critical to photosynthesis. In stacked disc called grana, pigments and enzyme trap sunlight to form ATP. Energy from ATP is then used in the stroma surrounding the grana to aid in the production of sugars. Chloroplast, the cell organelle in which photosynthesis takes place. In this organelle, light energy of the sun is converted to chemical energy. Chloroplasts are found only in plant cells, not animal cells. The chemical energy that is produced by chloroplasts is finally used to make carbohydrates like starch that get stored in the plant. The excess starch that is produced are stored in form of fruits. Chloroplasts that contain tiny pigments are called chlorophylls. Chlorophylls are responsible for trapping the light energy from the sun. Chloroplasts and mitochondria, now we look into the comparison between chloroplasts and mitochondria. They have their own circular DNA, ribosomes, tRNAs, and internal membranes. Ribosomes are more similar to prokaryotic than eukaryotic in size and function. Both are membrane bound and involved in energy production or utilization. Overall size is similar to prokaryotic, that is about 2 micron in length. Two other important plastids are chromoplasts, that is carotenoid containing organelles that impact red to yellow colors to plant parts. Amyloplasts, that are starch storing plastids. Another one of the plant organelle is the vacuole. Many plant cells contain a central vacuole. The vacuole stores amino acids, sugars, ions and waste. The vacuole enlarges during the growth and generally increases the cell's outer surface area, with the cytoplasm forced to a narrow zone between the vacuole and the plasma membrane. There are some other cell structures we will now look in. That is the cell wall. Structural component that wraps around the plasma membrane. It occurs in plants, fungi and some protists. In plants, many single-celled organisms and fungi have cell walls. It is a semi-rigid permeable membrane that helps a cell to hold its shape and resist rupturing if the pressure of the internal fluid rises. Plant cells use cell wall to essentially as a skeletal system, allowing them to stand upright and gather light energy. Rigid peptidoglycan polysaccharide coat that gives the cell shape and surrounds the cytoplasmic membrane offers protection from the environment. Cytoskeleton, an interconnected system of fiber threads and lattices that extend between the nucleus and the plasma membrane. It gives the cell internal organization, shape and potential to move. It consists of microtubules, microfilaments and intermediate filaments and assembled from protein subunits. The cytoskeleton acts as a skeleton and muscle. It provides shape and structure. It helps the organelles to move around the cell. They are made up of 3 types of filaments. That is microtubules, actin filaments, and intermediate filaments. Cell movement. Through the controlled assembly and disassembly of their subunits, microtubules and microfilaments grow or shrink. Microtubules or microfilaments can shunt organelles to different parts of the cell. Another mechanism for movement is the active sliding of one against another. Microtubules contain largest of the elements. They are composed of consist of protein tubulin arise from the microtubule organizing centers called MTOCs, and they are polar and dynamic, involved in shape, motility, and cell division. Now we look into microfilaments. Microfilaments are the thinnest cytoskeletal elements. They are composed of the protein actin, and they are polar and dynamic. They take part in the movement, formation, and maintenance of cell shape. Intermediate filaments. They are a rope-like structure and are used to give cells mechanical strength. Movement. The locomotion of the movement is taken care by the flagella and the cilia. Flagella are longer and propel organisms with a whip-like motion. Cilia are shorter. They are typically numerous and move organisms through the coordinated with an oar-like motion. Cilia are also important for moving substances in the multicell organism.